Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be telling you how I was able to cope without a help for some time, for like 6 months plus. See, in this video I'm not trying to advise anyone to stay without a help. As a matter of fact, it is not funny at all. Like, I don't even know how I was able to survive without a help for a long time. Like, sometimes you look as if you run crazy, especially when you're not used to it. And that was why it was very hard for me, because I have never stayed without her help before. So when my help left, that would be another story. I decided to just stay without the help because I'm a stay-at-home mode. I decided to start without the help for some time. So this video is actually how I was able to cope. From the beginning, it was not funny. I felt like, are you sure I can do this? I wanted to run mad. Like, I was very overwhelmed. So the first thing I did was that I left social media. I can't cope with all those stuff, and in fact it just was not natural. I don't have time for social media again, so I have to leave social media so I can be able to make out time to do the things I'm supposed to do for my children and my family, because guys, it was not funny at all. As time goes on, I'm becoming more overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I just pray to God. I mean, I'm a Christian. I pray about everything. That's the Holy Spirit to help me be able to cope for the short while I'm still without the help. After that prayer, somehow I started figuring out how to go about it. It was very difficult for me. Someone that I've been doing that, someone that I've always been without the help, maybe would have coped. But me, because I have not experienced it before, that was why it was hard for me. So these are some of the things that I was doing that made me to cope. I do not procrastinate chores. I make sure that, like, when it comes to clothes, I wash off the clothes immediately. I wash the clothes every day. Thankfully, I have a washing machine, so after taking their baths in the morning, I just wash off the clothes they wore that day. I don't even store it. I don't store 2 days. It made it very easy for me. And I want to just say this: if as a mom, whether stay-at-home working mom, if you can in fact you can afford, you can save up. Even if it takes you 1 year, yes, it's worth it. It's not too pricey. It's something you can afford. It's a priority. I mean, how can you survive as a mom that have little children without a washing machine? At least the manual one. I have the manual one, and it works very well. Like, the only thing is that, like, on like the automatic one, after washing it rings the alarm. You go and just rinse your clothes and spread it. So if you want to spin it, it has an area for spinning. You can just spin it. For me, I don't spin it. I've never even used the spin it. I just spread my clothes, so, and the sun dries it. Because when I put those clothes, when they're washing, I can just use that time to do other things. I don't just sit close to the washing machine. As the clothes is washing, I'm doing other things. You see, it creates time for you, especially as a mom. Other chores I don't procrastinate. When it comes to dishes, once we eat, I wash off the plate immediately. I don't store it because I don't have any help. So if I store, what am I storing it for? So I wash it off immediately. The kids, I don't procrastinate any chores. There's a rule I made in my house: anybody that eats, like, I mean, well, people, just me and my husband, once you finish eating, you wash off your plates. I clean my house once in 2 weeks thoroughly. Then within the week, I make sure that any mess that the children make, I clean after them immediately. I don't leave any mess. So that way I was able to also keep my environment clean and clean to an extent, even though it's not always as clean as well I would have wanted, but it was not that bad. I also tell my children, especially my first daughter, she's 3 years plus, so I tell her to help me with some things. Like, it's not as if she wash plate. No she doesn't wash plates. She doesn't do any chores, any meaningful chores. Like, when they play with their toys, she packs the toys. Yes, she packs her toys after they play. She can help me to get some things, like getting her sister's pampers. Like, she do some things. I send her to get some things for me, and she helps me to get some things. Like, what things I know that she normally does. Whenever they scatter their toys, I make sure she packs it. She packs it on her own. So at least that's the way I get little help from them, even though they're still small human. I formed a sleeping routine for my children. Like, I don't know, this one was the hardest one, because my child, when you tell her to go and have a nap, she will tell you that it's not nice. She doesn't like sleeping in the afternoon. But after some time, I was able to get them to sleep, because that is when I have alone time. That is when I have time to do things I want to do for myself. Because anytime they're awake, they always run around the house. Like, you can't just have the calm to do what your personal time, like my study time. When I want to study the Bible, they don't prevent me from praying. When I pray it aloud, they hear me. Even sometimes when I want to study, if I feel that they're not sleeping, it's not going to prevent me from studying, I will read it aloud. They'll be hearing it. Yeah, even though it will not be like when you are studying without their distraction, but at least I don't use it as an excuse not to. I make sure they sleep in the afternoon, and that was the time I had to, rest, do some things for myself, calm down, have some time, space for myself. When it comes to their bathing, I bathe them one after the other. I bathe the smaller one. She still uses the baby bath. I bathe her there. Then after I bathe her, like the small stew that is in her house, I sit her there. The small chair actually restricts her from walking about. Coming to put her hand in the water and used to bathe her sister. So I go ahead and bathe her sister. That is how we coping with bathing. Now when I want to bathe, after bathing them, I still sit the smaller one on that chair. The other one understands what it means that she will give me privacy to bathe. And when it comes to feeding them, we eat together. If I keep waiting to feed them before I eat, then I'll end up eating very late, So whenever I'm feeding them, I make sure my own food is beside. As I'm feeding them, we take turns. I give this person that I give, and then I eat my. When it comes to cooking, I batch cook soup. At least I have 2 soups on my freezer every time, because it helps me not to be stranded when it comes to our feeding. And within the week, I make all this little food that we use. I make lunch for my daughter when she's going to school in the morning, and then from there I take my own lunch. Then when we come back, everybody helps himself out. Sometimes he just warms his food and eats. Thank God for him. He was very helpful in this period. I was without a help, and he also helps to bathe the children at night when he comes back. I'm very grateful. When it comes to my child's food, I make her lunch most times a night before the school day. I don't make it that morning, so that when I wake up in the morning, I'll just warm it. I make her lunch at night, so when they go to bed early, at least 8 o'clock, she has gone to bed most times. Sometimes she stays up to 9, but most times she goes to 8 by 8. So when they go to bed, I just rush and make her lunch. It's not normally much because it's just little food, so I make her lunch for the next day. So in the morning, I warm the food, and it makes me not to take much time in the morning. It makes preparing her for school very easy. So what I do in the morning, my husband helps me to bathe her in the morning as I go ahead to prepare her lunch. Then she goes to school. Then the daytime, I go to pick her with her younger sister. That's how we do. Even after all this, in some days you can become very overwhelmed. When you wake up, you don't even know where to start from. You just be kind to yourself. Take it one step at a time. Do the ones you can do. It's your habit. Nobody will come and query you for not what you're supposed to do. Yeah, so be kind to yourself. The days that you don't feel like you're not, some days are like that. When you wake up, you don't feel like I don't know. You just calm down. Make sure those days, make sure you give your children food. That is the most important thing. They should eat, and you make sure they bathe and they are very okay. Then other house chores, you can just take your time. Even if you cannot do it that day, and the next day you can continue. Nobody will come and tell you, madam, you do not, especially when you're not expecting any visitor in your house. Yeah, some days are like that. The house will be in chaos, I can't do anything. That is just the realities of motherhood. Not every day is wonderful, everywhere is clear, everywhere is a pure fallacy. Some days the house is very scattered up, it's upside down, but I can't. That's the main reason why you look at it. You'll be very overwhelmed to do something. But at least most days I try to keep it in order, because it helps my sanity. Scattered house actually makes me want to run crazy, so I try to keep it in order as much as I can. When we come back, she do her own work, I bathe her immediately. So guys, this is how I was able to cope. It was not easy. Filming this video now, I have a help now. I recently got the help, and I'm so grateful to God. But during those periods, it was not easy at all. But I'm glad I was able to stay 6 months plus. I didn't know I can't even imagine I can do it, but I did it. So if you are in this time in your life that maybe you're without a help, just be kind to yourself. Take it one step at a time. Just multitask. Don't stress yourself. Choose ways to do things that are easier for you. Even when you don't have help around you, there are ways you can actually go about doing things to make them easier for you. Yeah, it was not easy at the beginning for me, but after some time I was able to find a balance, and I coped. I did not die, I did not disappear, I did not run crazy. So this is the end of this video. I hope, I don't know, I just feel like sharing. Maybe someone that is in this position, or that can relate, to know how to go about to be encouraged that you're not alone. Motherhood is not easy. It's not easy, but you do the things we do for our children. So yeah, thank you guys. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification button, and see you in my next one. Bye.